Hello, everybody. My name is Sola. I'm the principal consultant of Sola and Associates, and I'm doing this short video as a course preview for our upcoming course coming up on the 27th of June, um, 2024. It's called the Strategic Communications course. This is actually the third cohort of this course that we're running. And by the way, yeah, Sola and Associates, we are a training and consulting firm. We are committed to helping organizations achieve their objectives through the use of strategic communications, organizational effectiveness, and reputation risk management. So we are a training and consulting communications firm, strategy and communications firm. So so just to take, I'm going to try and do this in 10 minutes time. So this course, it has 6 modules of the course. It's an accredited course, accredited by CPDSO, that's the CPD standards, Continuing Professional Development Standards Office, based in the UK. So it's accredited and gives you an international accreditation. You get about 6.5 CPD points if you attend this course. You can use it for your professional certification requirements, depending on the requirements from your certifying body, but it's very much acceptable, whatever part of the world that you're in. And so yeah, so it's something that you can really get, bang for your buck from. And there's the opportunity to learn the fundamentals of strategic communications and develop or enhance your core skills. Enrollment is ongoing till the 25th of June. And yeah, you get some more details. Just email us on training@Shola and Associates and you can get some more details on that. It's a paid course, by the way. So yes, let's just get right into it. Now, the purpose of this course is to help you develop and enhance your core communication skills. Now, what are core communication skills? I find out that in a lot of my webinars, I keep referring to core communication skills, assuming that people know what core communication skills are. So I'm going to really try to break it down a little bit here within 10 minutes of what core communications is and why it's important to have it if you're in the kind of profession that you're working in, and having all of that. So this is a headline on how what you see on our flyer here is what we intend to pass across, which is to teach you how you can use communications as a strategic management and influencing tool, how you can influence your outcomes, business, organization, institution, wherever you may find yourself, using strategic communications. So let's get into it. It's going to be very short. So this is intended for you to be able to watch this on the go. So what I have here was an infographic that I put up on my page on LinkedIn, where again, still in the process of trying to make it, quite obvious what strategic communications is and what it isn't. By the way, the textbook definition of strategic communications is using communications to achieve the purposeful use of communication to achieve a mission, to fulfill an objective, used either by a business, organization, institution, brand, or individual, but anything that makes you be purposeful and intentional about how you communicate, that is strategic communication, and it plays out in different ways. So I wanted to, this infographic shows that in whatever area of communications you find yourself, whether marketing communications, brand, political communications, policy, leadership communications, change communications, stakeholder communications, business communications, corporate communications, investor related, events, STEM, whatever it may be, strategic communications is the baseline foundation for you to be able to do it effectively. To be able to get the outcomes you want in crisis communication, it is strategic communications that will get you there. If you are not purposeful, you are not strategic about your comms, you will fail in crisis management and in crisis communication. And that happens frequently. Anybody that fails woefully in a crisis, no matter what the crisis is, it is a failure of their communication strategy. 99.9% of the time. It's not really about what happened in the crisis, it's about how they managed it. And a strong part of managing your crisis is actually how you communicate about it, how you respond, how you do, and you respond strategically. The whole essence of that, managing the stakeholder relationships, knowing what you need to say and do within that time, is all within the limits of strategic communication. So if you are in any of these areas, you are working in an organization, you're in charge of health communications or risk communications or business communications, and you do not know what the strategic communication framework is, you have no idea that there is such a thing, then you are the kind of person that this course was made for. That's just it. I think that's the best way I can put it, because the essence why we put together this course was to give people the skills that they need to be able to work in diverse contexts and to be able to apply the same framework to different environments. As you know, development communications is different from business communications. If you are doing communications in a humanitarian context, it's very different. So if all you have been exposed to is working in a business com setting, you are likely to be completely unprepared for an environment where it's not about commercials, it's not about business returns or return of investment. But then if you understand the strategic communications framework, you should be able to apply it. Are you following me? So that's the essence here. So this is really the foundation training for anybody that is in any form of communications. I always recommend, I mean, like we have a course on brand strategy and marketing comms, and I say a lot of the marketing people always wanted to go there. But I always say, if you are supporting a corporate brand, start off with the strategic communications, because that will then make you understand how the corporate communications people think. Because if you do not understand that, you will make mistakes as a digital marketer or a social media handler, as we frequently see happening, because you're not seeing the big picture. So strategic communications, and this course in particular, we actually show you that framework so that you can then see the big picture of communications and then begin to apply it specifically to your area, wherever that may be. So good, let's move on. So I'm going to just show you a little bit. So here, I want to talk about the competencies. Again, like I said earlier, I always use that. I'm always talking about core competencies. And I recently realized that I'm taking it for granted that everybody knows what a core communications competence is. And I find that question always comes to that, okay, if I want to be a strategic communications person, what do I need to have and all that? So I have a range of competencies that we've sort of developed on a chart, but I took this one up because it's relevant to this. There are many competencies that you need to be a well-rounded communications person. And, digital communication, social media, events, campaigns, so many other things, creative content creation and all of that, creative writing skills, media relations, but I didn't add them here. But the core thing for you to be able to call yourself somebody who understands strategic communications on a basic fundamental level, the first thing you need to have is this, you have to be able to deploy that framework. And what that means is you must understand communication strategy and planning. So you have an understanding of basic fundamental communications principles and applications. In fact, what I should actually be writing here is that you understand the strategic communications framework, understanding of the strategic communications framework. That is absolutely fundamental. And if you're in the corporate communication space, or even in any of those, you work in a corporate setting, in any area of comms, this should actually be like baseline for you. So in terms of competencies, we talk about awareness, knowledge, skill, and mastery. So how do I know if I have, if you are aware, you know what the strategic communications framework is. You just have an understanding. You are aware. You know that you know the basic communications principles. You know what it looks like. What is step 1 is, step 2, step 3. Then that's fine. You are in the awareness/knowledge space. Now, if you are able to develop a fit-for-purpose communication strategy and plan based on that framework and drive its implementation across platforms, stakeholders, and audiences, we will say that you have developed a strong level of skill, particularly if you can do this consistently with, in fact, let me just put results there, because it's not just the ability to do it, but the ability to do it with measurable results. Consistently and exceed expected outcomes and see the expectations, stakeholder expectations, both internal and internal. We will say that you are skilled level. So you are able to develop, no matter, anybody can come to you and say, help me develop a communication strategy and a plan, and you can do that. You know what I mean? Whether you've done it before is immaterial. You can apply, you understand the framework, so you can apply it. So that's great. Now, if the ability to then develop and implement the same communication strategy, but that drives a national, a regional, a continental, or a global business and organizational agenda with measurable outcomes, that is when you are now at the mastery level. In other words, people can come to you and say, we need to drive a national campaign. We need to drive an international campaign. They can, very high profile, high impact programs can be given to you, or initiatives, or influencing or advocacy initiatives, or whatever it may be, still in the context of all we've talked about on the other slide, where we show health communications, risk communications. You can drive the agenda, as in you are the one that is going to help them set the agenda using that communication strategy and plan. Then you are at mastery level. This is core communication skills. If you cannot develop a communication strategy and a plan for any kind of initiative from scratch, then you need to come on this course. It means that there is a gap, and you need, if you are the kind of person that can only implement what somebody else has created, and I don't mean a social media plan, please, because a social media plan is one element. I mean a communications plan. As you know, social media is one aspect of communications. So that you can develop a social media plan does not mean you can create a communication strategy and plan. I see people really getting confused here. That you have a content calendar doesn't mean you can develop a content calendar, doesn't mean you can develop a communication strategy and plan for an entire initiative or a program. There are two different things, because if you are dealing with stakeholders, your content calendar is just for one app, one platform, one audience. A communication strategy looks at the holistic picture, of which social media will be just a fragment, a tiny fragment of it. And even if your audience, because all your audience cannot be only on one app, it cannot be only on Twitter, it cannot only be online. So the comm strategy looks at the entire picture, and it's not taking it's looking at the audience first before it then begins to determine, who we should be speaking to, why, and all of that. So that's fine. So okay, I think I'm out of my 10 minutes now. And so the modules we're going to be looking at this is module 1 and module 2, and I think module 3 will come up. The first module, we're going to be looking at how to create an impactful communication strategy and plan, what I've talked about. The second one, we're then going to talk about managing the internal and external communication effectively. We put that in for people in corporate communication so that we're not focusing only on external comms, but we do something about internal comms. And we do a lot about how to build an internal communication structure in your organization if you perhaps you need some help in that area. And with these courses, we're very flexible. So if we have people in the room who may not be corporate communications people and need to have that kind of internal comms deepening, we may just touch on it lightly and then focus more on external communication. But that's what we do in module 1 and 2. Module 2, after having really spent a lot of time introducing the framework in module 1. Then in module 3, we then go about how you then use strategic communications to manage reputation. We now begin to bring it home so that it's not just theoretical. We teach you the principles in module 1. We talk about it internally in the organization in module 2. We begin to move into the external space, and then we enter it firmly in module 3, where we're now saying you are now driving results and outcomes, changing the way people perceive you, the way you play, the visibility and your, and your presence through that same strategic communication that you have started conceiving in module 1. So we actually take you through the process in terms of how, and assuming you were doing this in real life. So the next 3 modules, because there's 6 in all, module 4, which is almost like midday after lunch, we then go into a practical session. We then show you how to develop messaging that is impactful. As you know, communications is about messaging. But before you get to messaging, there are many steps you will go to before you talk about what's your platforms and all those things, which is why I said, don't take a platform. When people start off from, let's post on Twitter, that is a tactical approach. You have omitted about 5 or 6 steps. So we take you back to the beginning, which is why are we even doing this in the first place? And that's what the framework shows you. It's a very simple framework, but your familiarity level with it, your understanding, your ability to position and embrace that framework will determine how well the kind of structures you're able to come up with and how you're able to really push and advance an agenda with measurable outcomes. So we now go into the messaging piece, which a lot of people really struggle with. How do you make sure that your messaging is impactful, delivers results? And then module 5 talks about leadership communications, because for every brand, business, organization, initiative, there is always that leadership element. And it's also an area that people need help with. So and even if you're a social media, you're somebody that you work mostly through online, you also need to think about how you can amplify your leadership voice through those platforms. So that's what we deal with there. We have syndicate sessions that run in 1 or 2 sessions. Depending on time, we do at least 1. If we have opportunity, we do 2. Module 6 will now be coming down. Corporate communications people usually like that module 6. So that's where we now talk about how do you quantify the impact of your communications. You see why I said this is a fundamental thing for everybody, because whichever area you find yourself in communications, you will have to quantify the impact, whether it's development comms, whether it is change communications, crisis communications, you need to be able to find a way. And we will teach you, we teach in class concrete methods about how you can do this, how to set your baselines, how to develop key performance indicators for the kind of interventions that you have made from the onset, so that you can measure, and then even your business, your sponsors, your project sponsors, whoever, and your business managers and leaders will know that you have made some impact. So that's it. So if you're interested in joining us, we have enrollment is ongoing, but very, very soon it's going to be shortened. Please send us an email at training@sholaabuluassociates.com. sholaabuluassociates.com. We would love to have you. So thank you very much. And yeah, hope to see you soon. Bye.